Okay, you all, every program is governed with rules. If you are not, please familiarize yourself with the rules for the program in which you are over. Texas Administrative Code, TAC, it is rules, it is online available to you. I highly encourage that you make yourself familiar with these rules and regulations. This one particular, we're referencing the TAC Rule 49.305. It touches all the rules in regards to employee records, and what is expected in these employee records. So when that you are having a survey, these are the rules that they are going to be looking to see if you follow. Now, every time an agency has a monitoring or a survey from the Texas Health and Human Services, when they come out or do a desk review to see if you are following the Texas Administrative Code rules, they take an account of all of your deficiencies. So when you don't follow those rules, they're documenting the rules that you did not follow. Um, Once they take all of the deficiencies throughout Texas, they take all that data, compile it, and they give us a report. The reports are free online. You can go and see the most deficiencies that agencies are having or being cited for. So that information is online and free for you to go and educate yourself on most deficiencies that agencies are having or the rules that they are not following. This is the link to that information, if you will. But so please make sure you familiarize yourself with these violations. Okay, in 2021, these are the 10 most frequent cited violations for home and community services agencies. According to the Texas Health and Human Service Commission, this is the information that they compiled from all the citations and fines that was given out to home care agencies. And then this list here, it just shows you the top 10. As you can see, number 4, verify employability use unlicensed personnel. That was the number 4 on the list for 2021. Number 8 on the list was staffing policies. Okay, so there is a lot of agencies that are not quite getting those rules down pat so that they do not get a citation or a fine and have to do a correction action plan. So I just want to make sure that you understand all of that information is compiled, and I want to show it to you so that you can understand that the personnel files need to be intact, and that's what our purpose and our goal is here today. When I am contracted to come out to an agency to audit their files, my cost depends on the time I am at that agency. That depends on how organized their personnel files are. When auditors come out to your agency to audit you, you want to make it seamless. You want them to open up your personnel files and go right to what they're looking for. That is the goal. But if your personnel files are not organized and the auditor has to flip back and forth and look in the pocket and loose papers, and they're trying to find out all this information, and they're looking for this information, they can't find it, they get a little frustrated, then you have to go try to find it. It's just not seamless. So today I want to show you how I set up new agencies and their personnel files so that it is smooth, it is labeled to where the auditors can go straight to what they're looking for. Now, once you open your binder folder or whatever that tool that you are using to house all of your personnel file documents, I highly recommend a check and balance system. And that check and balance system is going to be a checklist with all of the documents on it. So when you file in your personnel file, you want to make sure you're not missing not one single document that is required by Texas Health and Human Services in your personnel file. So I always recommend that checklist, that check and balance system. Then up close, auditors want to see those background checks. In a separate video, we'll talk about criminal background checks, which should be filed in a separate binder. But to have those NARs and EMRs that are supposed to be done initially and every 12 months right up front, and then that initial OIG check right up front. So I like to have those documents directly up front and personal. So when those auditors open that file, whatever they're looking for is right there. In section 2, I like to have the in-service records, those required in-services for the employees that are required initially and annually. I like to have those in their section. I also like to have in section 3, I like to have the application form completed and signed, documentation of individual job qualifications, all those required documents, those 2 reference checks that are required. I like to have that in a section by itself so that it's seamless and they can get to right where they need to when they are looking for those documents. Section 4 is a list of other documents, a part of the application file that is required. I like to have them in their own section, job description, where it's signed for all positions that are held. So if you have somebody that is working as a PAS supervisor, working as a um, biller, that same person is wearing different hats. All of those job descriptions need to be here in this section, along with these other documents that are listed here in section 4. Section 5, it's asking for the documentations, the copy of current license, registrations, diploma, certificates. There's certain programs that HMO programs that require you to have if you are a PAS attendant, you need to have a high school diploma. Some HMO require their PAS attendants to have a current CPR on file. So those verifications, diplomas, licensures, certificates, those things can be filed in section 5. Section 6, I have that as payroll forms, W-4s. Sometimes people change their tax deductions, their name, or the amount of money that they want to come out of their checks. I know in experience, PAS attendants, they may not reach that threshold for the government to take any taxes out as far as their wages. So if they want to have additional funds taken out, those updated W-4 forms can be filed here. If they want to sign up for direct deposit, their authorization signature form to sign up for direct deposit can be filed in this section as well. Section 7, any disciplinary actions, write-ups, or miscellaneous, if they're filing for unemployment and things of that nature, any miscellaneous things that you want to file in that personnel file is there. It is very, very important that you keep a seamless, straightforward, labeled personnel file so that you can make sure that all the files are there, so that when you do your audits as an agency, you can double check those files and make sure nothing is missing. And whenever you get ready to add those updated forms annually, or you can go there and just put the most current one on top. It is very important that you have good, seamless, upfront personnel files. I can't stress that enough. Now, there are some things that are a part of the employee application that cannot be a part of the actual personnel file. The entities are requiring them to be in separate folders. So any social security card, ID, IDs, Texas driver's license, anything dealing with I-9s need to be kept in a separate binder. I would label it the I-9 binder, and I would put those required documents in there. It should not be in the actual personnel file. As far as I-9s, that's a separate binder with the copy of the social security card or whatever the document the employee used to be hired. Okay. Health file. These are required documents. TB symptom screen on hiring annually. So we want to make sure those health files, documents are in a separate folder or separate binder, or in a separate envelope per employee. They want that separate. And then the criminal background check. Criminal background checks that you are running for the initial and per your policy every year. If that's applicable, you want to have those criminal backgrounds not in the personnel file. They need to be in a separate binder with the CCH form, and we'll go more in depth on that on another video. So I just want to make you aware that there are certain things that cannot stay in the personnel file. They need to be separate in separate folders, however you want to file that. I want to thank you all for joining me today on this episode of Texas Tax Tips. My name is Nikki Kibble. I'm a PAS compliance consultant. I've been one since 2004, and I hope that this helps guide you to having organized, seamless personnel files. See you next time.